Hello and welcome back to the third video in my little sort of mini-series on the Dyson V8 Total Clean, which is here. And the last video we looked at the features, what came with the machine, what it all did, and how it all fitted together. On this video, what we're going to be doing is to see it in action. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'll put some test dirt down on the carpet, I'll put some test dirt down on the sofa there, there's some on the stairs, and there's some on the hard floor in the back there. So we're going to be testing to see how well it picks up. Firstly, we're going to do the pickup on the carpets, and for that I'm going to be using the carpet head, which is this one here. This is your 50-watt power head, which contains your carbon fibre filaments and your stiff nylon bristles, which are the red ones. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, in my usual fashion, I haven't got a big mess test down here, but what we have got is an amount, very much like the Ibasiak does on his channel. Now Ibasiak is Roger, basically, who does the bag of filth. When he does a test on any kind of vacuum cleaner, we have sort of a mixture down here of dirt for the machine to pick up. That basically comprises of most of the sort of stuff that you would find in household dust, which is particles of rice, couscous, porridge. There are clumps here of household dust, fluff, pet hair, and there is basically other household dust which I've collected out of my vacuum cleaners over the last few months. And basically that's what gives the carpet that sort of darker grey tinge, is the very fine dust that's mixed into this as well. So what we're going to be doing is to see how well it picks up on minimum power, and then I'm going to run the machine alongside on the next part there to see how well it picks up on maximum power. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the camera down on the side and we're going to see how well it does. So just bear with me a second, because I don't use editing software on my videos, you see. It's everything's shot live and as you see it with these. So we're just going to focus in on that, like so. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass the cleaner closest to the camera on low power, one pass straight through the middle and back again, and we'll see how well that picks up. So prepare for the cleaner to be christened, because off we go. Right, so what we do now is we'll shake the floor head to see if anything's stuck inside there, which it doesn't appear to be. I show the contents of the bin there, and we can see that that's been picked up. It's all inside the bin. That was set to low power, as we can see there, not max. So that is the mode basically that gives you the 25-minute run time. Okay, and what we can see from that is that it's done very well. There is practically nothing left on there. Very couple of very small particles maybe that I can see, but yes, that's picked up very well. It hasn't clogged. I'm just going to have a quick look inside the floor head here to make sure, to see if we've got any clogs. And as we can see from that, where the hole is at the back, there's nothing jammed inside there. So that's done pretty well. Right, now what we're going to do is go along the back with the cleaner in max mode. And again, I'm just going to check the floor head. Nothing falls out of it. There are no clogs in there. Nothing's got stuck or jammed, which is pretty good. And once again, everything it's been asked to pick up is all in the bin. And that's done a fantastic job. We can see from this, there is nothing whatsoever left on there. It hasn't snow ploughed anything in front of it. All the large debris, all the fluff, pet hair has been picked up. So that is a very, very good job indeed. Very pleased with that. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to clean up the rest of this mess on minimum power or normal power to conserve battery life. But basically, this is what most people would use, this mode in normal power for day-to-day use to get your 25 minutes run time with the 50 watt power head on. And there we go, that's done a fantastic job there. And as we can see, I would not normally fill the machine up that much, but that literally shows the capacity of this machine, and it carried on sucking and carried on picking up, literally right until the bin was top full. Now, you have got a max line there, you're not supposed to really go over that line, but the machine will pick up all the way over here, but I wouldn't recommend it because you won't be getting as much suction through. But nevertheless, on the low power, and it was in low power rather than max, it was able to cope with all that dirt very, very easily indeed. So that's full marks. That really is good. And I had doubts with this being only 22 air watts, pardon me, that whether that would be able to cope with picking up debris off carpets. It's exceptionally good. Exceptionally good. Everything's there. So what we're going to do, we're going to empty this machine now into the bucket. So I'm going to just stand that here, set the camera up on the side here for the emptying process. Now with the hygienic bin emptying, this should be an awful lot easier than if I'd have filled my V6 up to that sort of level. It would have been a pain. It would have been a lot of cleaning to get all the bin off and everything to clean that out. So what I'm going to basically do is to hold the machine over the bucket, grab hold of the dust ejector, pull it back, lift up to clean the shroud and drop the bottom of the bin. And then you can do it a couple of times like so, and while it's doing that, it's scraping the shroud off using this shroud scraper. Okay, push it down, give it a tap, and then close the bin. And then what we can see is that, if I just zoom back out again, has cleaned off that shroud very well. Nothing's clinging to it. So I am very pleased, very impressed with the way the hygienic dust ejector works with the V8. And also the V7 works in exactly the same way. It's excellent. I would highly recommend this machine for this dust ejection system. Having had the V6 for a little while, I would know how long that would have taken. You've opened the trapdoor on the V6, the bottom bit would drop out, but you'd be left with everything else stuck around the side of the shroud. Then you'd have to take the bin off, and that's dirty and fiddly. This is much better. Much, much better. Can't stress how good I think that is. I'm just going to have a look at the Premotor Filter. Now what happens with this basically is the cyclones draw from around the top here. They're sucked through into the centre, and basically all the dust is drawn in to the top here through that hole. It goes into the centre of the filter and is drawn through from the inside to the outside. So what we're looking for is evidence of dust build up here on that blue part. So basically the dust goes in there and you can't actually see it because this hides it. So when you're cleaning the filter, it's not really sufficient to wash this under a tap. You really need to put it in a sink full of water, hold it upside down and lift the filter up like this at the same time when it's full of water, so the water all drains out of that hole there. So you're effectively trying to clean all the crap that's inside that cone. If you don't do it this way, you might get the dust out by washing it under the tap, but all cat hairs and everything else that might get lodged in there will stay inside, and it won't be good for the machine over the long term. You won't get the filter cleaned properly. So you really must put it in immerse it, lift it up like so, let all the water drain out the bottom. That's the best way I've found to do it with my other machine. So no, the dust hasn't gone through from that demonstration. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put the mini turbo brush on, and we are going to tackle this dirty chair. Now I put some dust and cat hairs and fluff down on this furniture and rubbed it all over the back here, which would simulate the mess that the cat would normally make on here. Obviously because I vacuumed yesterday, the rest of the house is pretty clean, so I've had to simulate a bit of dirt on the chairs. But I don't want to go over the top because, you know, I don't want to be making an unrealistic sort of mess on the furniture here. So what we're going to do, I will just put the camera down here for a second while I fit the mini turbo brush head, which is this one, to the end of the machine. I'm going to put the machine across the base on that side first on normal power, so it's set on normal, and then on the other side I'm going to put it onto max. So that's done reasonably well. It's done pretty well, that has. This is notoriously difficult to clean, is this. It's sort of a throw, a synthetic throw that I have over the chairs to stop the cat damaging the furniture. And basically the cat hairs do tend to cling to this sort of stuff. And it's the same with this as well. They tend to cling to it. So now we're going to try it over onto maximum. Now this should really increase the pull down onto the furniture, and if it's too bad I might have to switch it back onto minimum again. So yeah, that's done very well. It was slightly harder to pull it back. It's groomed it very well, and it's removed the majority, if not all, of the hair and the fluff, which is now in the bin. Now we're going to try it minimum power again on the back. And I'm only going to use minimum for this because this here is like a loose throw that's go over the back. If I have it on maximum, it's liable to just pull it straight into the nozzle. So we're going to have it on minimum setting, or normal power basically, and we're going to try and tackle the dirt that's on the back. Bit more onto the bottom there, drop down. There we go. It's got everything off. So yeah, it was trying to pull it away. Really, I would use two hands for this. One hand to pull it tight as I go end across. But it's, as I say, it's a little bit more tricky when you've only got one hand. But on minimum power, that was very powerful. It was able to get everything off the soft furnishings. And again, it's all in the bin. Now, having a look at the bottom. There's no clogs inside there. You can see a little bit of hair, white cat hair there, which is clinging to the lint lifters, which basically happens on just about every single vacuum cleaner that you have. When you've got pets, the hair does tend to cling. Now if you had long hair, if you had ladies with long hair or long-haired pets, it's liable to get wrapped around the brush roll. So bear that in mind. Any vacuum cleaner with a revolving brush, you're going to get issues with the hair wrapping around the bristles. So my cat is a short hair. She's a white cat with white fur, but she's a short hair, so I don't get issues with rollers getting covered in cat hair, or my own hair, which is quite short anyway. And there's no ladies that live here. So let's go to the next one. Let's turn the lights on here. It's the Stair Test. Now, this is ideal, this machine, for doing stairs. It's one of its favourite jobs. The V6 is fantastic on stairs, and I'm sure the V8 with its little mini turbo brush would be absolutely excellent. So we're going to see how well is it going to cope with all this mess on these 4 stairs. Okay, so we'll start on the bottom, which has got no dirt on. I'm using minimum power for this. No need to scrub, you let the brush roll do all the work. You just guide it gradually back from the front, back to front. And let the brush roll do the work. On to the next one. That. Right, now the issue here, because there was some rice on that stair, some of it has been flung back by the brush roll, okay, and it's landed on the bottom stairs. And realistically, what I should have done really was to go from the top to bottom, but it's picked all the fine dust and everything up. It's just the particles of rice. But then again, you wouldn't normally have particles of rice on your stairs, would you? So perhaps I was a bit unrealistic by putting rice down on stairs, but it could stimulate large items of grit, couldn't it? So let's just try again, picking these up. Work back down, yes, it has scattered some behind onto the lower stairs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch it over onto max because it is struggling with this rice on low power. So I'm going to switch it onto max and see how we go with that. And now we can see just what's happened. This is the issue with revolving brush. If you're going to use it on particles like rice, it can get thrown backwards. So we can see the rice particles are the things that have been thrown back. So perhaps in hindsight, I should have used max power for this test. That's better. There we go. So that's done pretty well. It just struggled a little bit on the rice. But then again, you see, there was rice on this carpet here, but the main floor head got that up no problem. So there we go. Everything there, all the fine dust's in the bin. So we're just going to empty it again. Let's just put the camera back here. And then we'll go into the bathroom onto the hard floor. So once again, give it a tap, get everything out of the centre. There we go. That's pretty good. Pretty good, that. Pretty good indeed. So let's go into the bathroom then. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the soft roller fluffy head on. Like so. And we'll go and see how well it does in here. So once again, I've set some dirt out on the floor here, which is basically the rice, couscous and other usual stuff that you would expect to drop in the kitchen. And there's sugar down here, salt and everything else. So let's give it a go on normal power. that's done an absolutely excellent job, as I thought it would do, because this floor head is fantastic at picking up larger debris from hard floors and fine dust as well. Again, as you can see, it's all where it should be. That's the flour, sugar, salt, everything in there. It's picked a lot up. No sweat. So I'm going to take this off and we're going to try the last little test on the worktops. So I shall take the wand off, and then what I'm going to do, we'll go back into the living room and we'll put the scoop on and we'll try picking up the flour off the worktops here and the larger particles here. So just go and get the scoop head. So we're going to see what I'm trying to do basically is get that down so we've got this setting on. So this is basically what you'd use in handheld as basically a hand vac for picking up spills on the kitchen worktops. So you've dropped all your rice on the worktop here. I seem to have a problem with reflection on the light, don't I? So if I turn that light off there, I know it might make it a little bit darker in here, but it should kill the reflections of the worktops. So now we're going to basically do it as a hand vac in normal mode to see if it's got the power in standard mode to pick all this rice and sugar and salt up. So yeah, that's a clean sweep. It didn't have any trouble at all picking up spills from the worktops. And again, it's all inside here. So on minimum power, it is perfectly able to pick up any spills. And this is the mode that you would get the 40 minutes of runtime out of, basically. So now I'm going to try it with flour. We've dropped some flour. It's only a small amount, but we've dropped some flour and some sugar and some salt here. Fine particles on the worktop. Let's try again in minimum mode. So it wasn't able to cope fully with the flour. It's left little bits behind. So this is one instance where we're going to have to put it on max. And pardon me, that's my alarm going here. We're nearly finished now anyway, so... There we go, it's done it. So there we go, that's excellent. It's performed really well on those tests there, and there's going to be more videos to come of this, but that's basically a few of the pickup tests. So I'll see you on the next video.